Someone asked me how to make these, so I'm going to show you today. I used a set of cutters from Cutters for Clay for these. I'll talk about the shapes in a second, but I want to say there was no tutorial that went with it, so this is what I've come up with on how to use them. I've already rolled out my clay for this. This is earthenware clay, but you could use stoneware, of course, or even porcelain, I imagine. I'm just going to release it because I haven't done that yet. This is very thin. This is 3 millimeters short, or whatever this is. And I have a set of cutters for these. Now, I got these from Cutters for Clay here in the UK. If you don't have them, I'm sure you can make a general shape. So what it is you're going to get 2 of these sort of fat teardrop shapes, a little bit pointed at one end. Then this sort of squashed figure of 8. You just need 1 of these. And then you need 1 of these, which is sort of pumpkin shaped. So if you have a pumpkin cutter, that could work. Okay, so 1 pumpkin, 1 figure of 8, 2 squashed leaves. So I'll cut these out now. So once they're cut out, you just want to spend a little bit of time smoothing the edges and also flattening them. So even though this is such a thin piece of clay, I like to just come along and squish it. And that makes it look a little bit more like a petal. Okay, it doesn't need to be flattened a lot, but just a little. Okay. I'll do the rest on speed so you can see what I'm doing, but not take too much time. Right, so I've flattened these down, rounded the edges. Part of the reason, along with flattening the petal edges, along with making it smoother, it's going to give it more of an organic shape, which is what you want, because you want it to look like a flower, not something that you just made out of clay, even though that's what you've done. Okay, I've just moved into this board so you can see a little bit. Now, for most of this, you probably won't need to slip and score it. I'm going to add a little bit of slip just because my clay is feeling a bit dry. But if you know your clay and know it's moist enough, you're not going to need much at all. There is a part coming up where you will want some slip, so just pay attention for that. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take these 2 squashy teardrops or lopsided heart shapes, and I'm going to take the points here. I'm going to cross them over like that, okay? So not a big thing, and I'll just put a little bit of slip there. I'm not even going to score it because while the clay's a bit dry, it's not that dry. So I'm just going to then squish them together, like so. Okay. If you want it to be more even, you could make sure that both the points are pointed down. This one's pointed a little in, so you could point it down, but it's not going to matter. It's, you know, you're making a flower. It's an organic shape. It's fine. So next thing you're going to do is, adding a little bit of slip, is you're going to take this figure of 8 bit here, and you're going to put it on. Now, clearly I haven't put slip everywhere, but I don't think it's going to matter because I'm just going to pull it down. So you got sort of half of the figure 8 sticking off and half of it onto the original 2 petals. So it gives you an idea of the size or the amount you want covering. I'm just going to press it on nice and easy like that. I didn't smooth that out a little bit. You can always, you know, adjust it as you go along. And then this last bit is just going to go on top like that. Now we're not done, so don't stop watching, because we're going to talk about final little bits and also how I glaze these. So there, that one goes on top. Good, and it feels nice and solid. Now the last bit, let me show you. So to finish these up, I'm going to take just a little piece of clay here. Let's see, won't be much, and this is just to make the stamen on it. So I'm going to roll it into a sausage, probably a little bit fatter than that. And then what you want to do is you want to cut these, probably that's more than enough, so cut off the ends there. I'm just eyeballing this. About that much for each one, okay? And I'm going to roll this into sort of a teardrop or egg shape, sort of like that, okay? I'll do the same with this one. I'm quite good at this because I'm terrible at making actual balls in my hand. They always seem to end up sort of this shape. So sometimes being bad at something makes you good at something else. So these two are about the same size. We'll look at on the flower. Yeah, that looks about the right size. Okay, I'll lift it up so you can see better. It might be a wee bit big, but I think it'll be okay. Actually, I'm changing my mind. I don't like doing less than my best for all of you. So cut a little bit off and then just roll it again to get that shape. Yeah, that's better, I think. Let's dry it out a little. You can see the cracks, but we can fix that with just a little bit of slip, because this bit we are going to definitely want slip, because when I made these before and I just sort of pushed them in, because you're not squishing it in because you want to keep that shape, they fell off after they had dried, a couple of them. So I'm going to definitely slip up the area there, and I might even scratch the back of this a little bit just to help then bond it. Oh, get rid of that. Okay, and add a little slip there because these are dry. Don't know why my clay is so dry. Oh, I know, this is the reworked clay that I put back in the bag, so it's already been out, so that's why it's a bit drier than otherwise. Good. And then put those in. And the best way to know if something you've attached is to try and shuffle it back and forth. When it stops moving with the shuffle, then you know it's stuck. Now there's a few little cracks in here, but if I just wet my finger or use my wet sponge, here, I got a little piece here, and just put it down, a little bit of water there, and then I can do this. And I can take out those cracks there. There. All gone. Now you can shape this a little bit, you know, pull in the corners. I wouldn't lift up every corner or edge, but you can lift up a little bit and it'll be interesting. This petal feels a little off to me. I did mention that I sort of had the end pointed in, but that's just me being a little bit of a perfectionist. I think it's going to look absolutely fine. Or, you know, if it doesn't look right, then just cut off a little bit, but it's fine the way it is. Now I'll go through how I glazed the ones I had, and I'll talk to you about the colors. So for all of these, I single fired these. So I glazed them in the greenware stage and then fired them the way they are. I did glaze the backs, and I left a little spot there because they do say that it's good to leave a little space for off-gassing. I don't know, is that important when it's such a thin little piece? Maybe if you're more used to single firing, you could tell me if that was a smart move to do. But that's fine, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue a brooch pin to this so that you can wear it as a brooch. I think they'll look nice. So for all of these, I used Mayco Stroke Coats. And let me go through the colors that I did for all of them. So this one has 2 coats of Fruit of the Vine, number 33 Stroke Coat. Then this is number 6, Sun Kissed. I also did Sun Kissed on the back. Everything is 2 coats, and then the little Stamen and the white are Cottontail, and the black is Tuxedo. Now on this one, believe it or not, I did 2 different purples. I don't think you can tell much difference, so I wouldn't bother with that the next time. Around here, this is Purple Haze, and then right in the center, sort of like how I did the white on this one, is then Fruit of the Vine again. And you definitely can't see enough of a difference to worry about that. So if you only have one purple, just use the one purple you have. Then again, Tuxedo and Cottontail. This one was then Cottontail with, I honestly don't remember it because I didn't mark it down whether, I think this was Purple Haze actually. I didn't mark it down. Purple Haze on the edges. I think that looks really nice. Again, white on the back. And what I like about the white on the back is it's harder to tell where I left the little bare patch. But it's that one's quite nice. Then this one is a little different. This one I used number 3 Wine About It. Then again 6 Sun-Kissed Cottontail. And I think the little extra bits there. Rather than doing black, I used, which number, 14 Java bean. Okay. These all came out well. I had another one that came out of the kiln really nicely. Unfortunately, Miss Butterfingers that I am dropped it and it broke. And I might try and kintsugi this just for fun for myself. I would never try and then sell this because it's pretty broken. But again, that was Sunkissed, and then not Java Bean, Wine About It on there. And that was it. I didn't put any black on it, on top of it. Maybe that was my mistake. maybe the reason it didn't survive is I didn't put any of the extra little marks on the center bit. No, it didn't survive because I dropped it. That's the one thing with earthenware. When you drop it, it's fragile compared to my stoneware, but it's also because of the shape. So do be careful if you make them. But they are fun, they are easy, and they are fast. So hope you enjoy.